Hi, I'm Burton Pinkham with Bigfoot Mortgage, and we're here with Jessica Howard today. And Jessica runs a company called
Money Coach Jessica.
Fantastic Money Coach Jessica. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your story that brought you to being a money coach?
Okay, yeah. I was in corporate for about 15 years, and it was great. I loved it. Learned a lot. Traveled. Met so many different people. And the last few years, there were some changes in the organization that kind of led me to feeling that wasn't really my path anymore. So in 2023, I left corporate. Wasn't quite sure what I was gonna do, but something that I've done over the past 10 years or so to help other people is a type of money coaching. So helping people that are just struggling with money, feel like they're not good with budgeting, and just can't figure that piece out. They've tried all the different ways. And so I have been helping people over the years with that. And so when I left corporate, I was actually helping someone, and she was like, "Why are you not doing this as a living?"
Really?
And I was like, who would pay people to help people with their money? But it was a big eye-opening for me too, because just because you need help with money doesn't mean you don't have money.
Right.
You're not poor, you're not broke. It's literally because just so many of us were never taught how to handle or manage money. And so a lot of people struggle with this. So it's something I'd help people. And then once this happened, I was like, well, why don't I just explore this and see where this takes me? And my dad is also self-employed. So I grew up in a home where, you know, there was one W-2, but not the other.
Right,
So,
okay.
you know, when there's seasonality and things go up and down, and my dad is one of those really great at what he does, but the business side was not something that he had had experience with. So I have that unique perspective of growing up in that, knowing what it's like. And so my business background and this money coaching, I kind of pulled together to say, how can I really build a business out of this, but instead of helping corporate, bring this to people in my community. And so that is how I started this business, and really trying to connect with small business owners that are really good at what they do, but are just really struggling with how to figure out this cash flow piece with their business.
And I've seen that so much with a lot of the small business owners that I know. They are very, very good at what they do, and they have a passion for their business, whatever it is.
Right.
And oftentimes, running a business is the part they don't want to do. The paperwork, the accounting, the management of money.
Yes.
And even since you and I first met, I've been surprised at following your posts on socials and stuff, at how the nuances of finance for a small business owner can be so different than what I expected. You know, in my career, I've been sales and marketing, and it's always been more sales, more money, less problems. But not necessarily the case, because you've
Right.
got the AR and you've got all these other challenges that a small business owner, too busy being great at their business,
Right.
to think about it enough to be strategic. So it's interesting. My first question is, making that jump from corporate to self-employed. That takes a lot of bravery, right? That's
Yeah.
on spirit of entrepreneurship, which I have a great deal of admiration for anyone who's an entrepreneur. What got you to that point where you decided to make that choice?
Yeah, so when I left corporate, I really thought I would just go to another corporate job. You know, this
Right.
has like been my career and what I've done. But before I left corporate, I was in grad school at UT. I was getting my MBA, and my last semester, we were given the option to take this. We had an extra class that we could take, and it was entrepreneurship. And I remember like feeling something in that class, but I didn't quite know what, because I was still in corporate. So I was like, I don't know why, I just really like this. But when I left and I was helping this person, and they were like, why are you not doing this as a living? It was like, wow, maybe that was kind of preparing me for like this next chapter of my life. So I thought, you know, I have the unique experience of growing up with a family were self-employed. I have all of this knowledge and skill set and stuff in business operations. And so how can I just pull all of that and just bring it here to my community? Also, like, I just love that drive, like you said, like that entrepreneurs and stuff have. And I also just want to see people be successful.
Right.
And if this is that one piece that they can figure out that just changes the path that they're on, like, that's amazing.
Yes.
Like, so that is, and I guess I will say too, even though I have the knowledge and the experience in these things, I still struggle as a business owner.
Right.
I still struggle with all the different things that we have to manage. And when you're a one person show and until you build that up. So I also feel like I'm right in there with them.
Right.
And I get it. I'm doing the same thing too with building a business.
Right.
So I understand a lot of that they're going through as well.
I understand
Yeah.
completely. For example, you're really good at coaching and helping with money, but you may need some help getting leads or managing a pipeline or
Sales and marketing.
Sales and marketing.
Not mine.
Exactly.
Yes.
So there's
Right.
a famous quote that I came across, and I don't remember who said it, but it says nobody succeeds alone.
Right.
And that is so true. Whether you're just getting started and can find a mentor, great way to go.
Yes.
And a lot of the successful entrepreneurs, I would say most of them, have a mentor or other people who have helped them out along the way, and they build a team of like-minded people,
Yes.
whether that's a team that they're paying to work for them, or whether it's other people they know who feel the same way, who want to encourage that entrepreneurial spirit,
Right.
which is kind of what prompted me to want to have this conversation with you and share it with other people,
Yeah.
because good people tend to orbit around other good people, and that's the community that I'm looking to grow. Not really
Yeah.
grow, maybe selfishly tap into. I want to meet
Yeah.
other people that feel like
Right.
I do.
Mhm.
I have a passion for helping people grow financially, whatever that looks like. I have a passion for helping people not make the same financial mistakes that I have made throughout my life.
Yeah.
And I feel a great deal of satisfaction going home every day, whether I've closed a deal or accomplished what I meant to accomplish. The fact that I was out there trying to help people get a little further in meeting their goals, that's what keeps me moving.
Yes.
What are some things that keep you going? So you've been doing this for about 2 years now.
Well, I'm still in my, I'm like
right?
in my
You said
second
2023.
year.
Okay, so you're in
Yeah.
your second year.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
what are some things that keep you going in your business when the going gets tough?
It is, I will tell you, like, there were a lot of things that felt really rewarding in my career when I was in corporate. But when I talk to like business owners, these folks that are out there hustling, investing their time, money, and energy into something that they really believe in and that they care about, but I can see it just feel like it's slipping away from them. When we start working together and I can see that shift start to happen, that aha moment, that when they start to get it, and when you can start seeing that change, and when I hear them talk me through something that 2 months ago they couldn't even have talked me through, when they can tell me, oh, I did this, but it's because I did this, and so what I'm going to do next week, and I'm like, you didn't even know what's happening with your money. You just talked me through what you did, how you're going to fix it, and what your plan is going forward. You couldn't even have done, and like, it gives me chills literally.
Nice.
Because I know it's working. I know it's working for them, and I know that this is not about Band-Aids. This is about transforming the way that they think about their money. And when that happens, this is not just affecting their business. This is now going into their personal. And these people that have children, this is now something that they can start passing down. And we are breaking the cycle of, this taboo around money.
Yes.
When really these little things that we can learn can be the shifts that we need, that it's just that little tweak,
Yes.
yes. So
I hear exactly what you're
Yeah.
saying. It's so funny. We just had an event at our firm called Break the Cycle event.
okay.
We invited all the homeowners who had purchased a home before the age of 36.
Wow.
Why 36? Because in the state of Tennessee, that is the average age of a first-time home buyer.
Okay.
And so we wanted to celebrate people who were buying their first home before that age. I think 36 is way too old to be buying your first home, because there are so many options out there that people just aren't aware of.
Right.
And people who are able to take hold of those opportunities and to work in their younger years, right, in their early 20s, you go to college or not, and focus enough on your finances to start building that wealth, get that home. There's something to be celebrated. And we use that term, break the cycle. And we all learn how to manage money from our parents
Yes.
when we first start. Those are the habits we get. And then after those habits, we learn how to manage money from people like you.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things like that I always want people to know, and this still happens even when someone contacts me for like a Q&A call, just
Mhm.
in interest. They will, and a lot of the people I work with, they don't have an income issue. It
Mhm.
is a total
Mhm.
cash flow issue. It
Yeah.
is timing. It is what they're doing. It is the reactiveness, the impulse. All of these things. And so when I start working with people, I hear them say stuff like, it's just stupid decisions. We were just being dumb. There's all these things. And I always think, you know, if I showed up to do your job and I've never done it before,
Mhm.
and I said, I'm just dumb trying to do this, you'd be
Right.
like, well, Jessica, no one's taught you how to do
Right.
this.
Yeah. Right.
You've only heard me talk about it and you're
Mhm.
trying to figure it out. So it's like, I want people to know, like, give yourself some grace.
Mhm.
So many of us were never taught. We have learned based on what we saw our parents
Right.
doing, our own experiences, what we see working for someone else. And we
Mhm.
think, oh, this will work for me.
Right.
And
Right.
when it doesn't, then we feel like I'm just bad with money or I'm a
Mhm.
failure. And
Mhm.
that's
Not
because
the case.
I don't believe in a one size fits all.
Mhm.
And so it's one of those things that you have to figure out what works for you.
Mhm.
And that's really where that part of coaching comes in. So
Mhm.
you've tried, you feel like I made dumb mistakes, but really it's just, we just needed to kind of change a couple of things. Like, think about what your mindset is. What are some, and people get really focused on what habits do I need to create to be
Mhm.
good?
Right.
And it's like, what we forget is there are habits that we've been doing since we started managing money
Right.
that are still there. That's the hard part.
Right. Breaking
That's
habits.
the hard part,
Mhm.
breaking those things that are not serving us, and like getting awareness around those little things that
Mhm.
we do that we don't even realize are impacting us.
Mhm.
So getting awareness around that, and yeah, I know we could go on
I,
forever about
I
this.
understand.
It's,
I
it's
understand.
so
So
yeah.
Albert Einstein said, if you ask a fish to climb a tree, you'll think he's an idiot. And what you were saying earlier stands to reason, because we all have strengths. Every single one of us
Yeah.
has a strength.
Mhm.
But if we're asked to do something we don't know how to do, now we can't, I don't know if we can teach a fish to climb a tree, but,
Right.
but we also can't ask a monkey to breathe underwater. So the point of it is we all have strengths that we can do, and we need people to guide us or to teach
Yes.
us. And what you're saying is it requires a certain degree of trust.
Yes.
Because in our society in general, we don't talk about our finances. We
Mhm.
don't talk about how we manage finances. So everybody,
Right.
I think, feels, oh, I kind of got to do this on my own,
Mhm.
and people might think I'm dumb or what have you. But nobody succeeds alone. And if
Right.
you know that finances is something that can help your business grow, and you meet someone who is trustworthy, and you meet someone who has the expertise,
Mhm.
that's key, because you can then share with them what they need to know to help you and learn.
Right.
And in my current industry, I have learned so much about mindset,
Yes.
and I have learned so much about giving what you know to other people
Mhm.
to help them learn what they need to learn, which they may not know, and but making sure they're willing to receive.
Right.
Because you can't fill a full cup. If you keep pouring water into it, it just comes out.
Right.
So finding people, how do you find people who are ready to
Mhm.
receive that information, that knowledge that you have to share?
Yeah, and I think, well, first I'll say is um, there are a lot of different people in your financial team,
Right.
and this is one of the things that I tell like clients I work with that are small business. You've got a bookkeeper that's going to help you with your transactions and help you make sure that your financial statements are accurate,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
helping you with your P&L and all of that.
Right.
You've got a CPA that's going to really help you when you're filing your taxes, make sure that you've got the right tax strategy, that plan in place.
Mhm.
You've got maybe someone that does your payroll, maybe a financial advisor. You
Mhm.
need that because you don't have a 401k, so you need someone that's starting to help you plan for the future as well. So there's all these different people that help us. And then as a financial coach, what I do that's different is I'm in the day-to-day
Mhm.
of what people are doing. So a lot of people, they've heard of all of those.
Right.
They know what a bookkeeper is. They've heard
Mhm.
of them,
Right, right.
And so they get all these and they think, why am I still struggling? And I think the other part is like just a lot of people don't know about money coaching or
Mhm.
financial coaching,
Mhm.
that people that actually get in and help you with the day-to-day.
Mhm.
I don't think there's as many of us, and
Mhm.
it's hopefully something that's going to become more and more common. But one, it's just helping there be awareness
Mhm.
that there are people that can help you get even more into the weeds.
Mhm.
So that's really what I try to do, is just remove the taboo around money.
Mhm.
Try to help people understand the difference between profit and cash flow. But it's really more around awareness
So let's assume that there's some small business owners that are watching
that
our
are
conversation,
ready. Okay.
that are watching the conversation and think,
Mhm.
okay, this is interesting. What would you want to share with the small business owner community
Yeah.
in our area, in our local area? What would you want to tell them to help them realize what they need or how you might be able to help them?
So first, it's not that you're bad with money. You just haven't been taught or learned a system that works for you. And so I believe that everyone has the capability to be able to learn. So I believe that people have that if they want to learn how to do it. The other is there is no one size fits all. So if you are working with someone that's like, oh, this worked for me, this is what you need to follow, and you're still struggling,
Mhm.
it's okay.
Mhm.
There is no one size fits all. You just need to find the pieces that work for you.
Mhm. We're on the same
like-
page there. I made a
Yeah.
video about budgeting being the key to wealth, and it
Mhm.
had the lowest views of all my videos. And I think it's the B word, right?
Yes.
Everybody hates
I
budget.
don't. I always
Budgets
talk
are
about cash flow.
constraining.
Yeah.
Cash. Yes,
Well,
I've done.
also-
Yes, that's the key.
Well, here's the other thing. This might be my I can answer this a little better. Life doesn't happen in months.
Right.
Life doesn't happen in months. So when we have a budget for a month, that's really hard for people to try to stick with something because life doesn't happen that way. Life is continuously happening.
Yes.
And so that's why I say cash flow versus a budget. We are just really watching the way we are learning how our cash is flowing in and our cash is flowing out, and that timing.
Yes.
And that is a huge piece that a lot of people don't realize. The other is don't make decisions. Make sure you're making decisions for your business based off the right number. And the right number is not profit, and it is not the number in your bank account. So making sure that you know what numbers to look at when you are making decisions for your business. That is a really big thing that I deal with a lot of clients.
Okay, I just started my own business. Sounds like you and I need to have a conversation
Yeah.
here in a month or two when it starts moving.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I look at when I.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's what happens. Like, so a client, they may say like, okay, we just had a really good week of sales and we're behind on stuff because we just had a slow month. So they've had maybe a little slow season here, and then they have a spike in sales or a lot of money comes in. And so their immediate thought is, I got to pay all these things off. I got to do this. And then they get this money in and now it's all gone out. And then all of a sudden the next week, they have
Cash
rent
flow
due,
problems again, right?
Yes. And so
Okay.
now they're right back in that cycle of, I just built up that debt. Now I paid it off. Now I don't have cash, and I'm back in the same position of building that debt again.
Interesting.
And so it's really important that they're looking at the right number. And that is what I help my clients with. I help them understand like what is all the moving pieces so that they can see their cash clearly and make sure that they're making decisions, and also that they can run simulations. If I were to do this, how would this affect my cash flow in 3 months? And if 3 months is going to hit your slow season, you might want to be really careful with decisions you're making now. But it's all about planning ahead and really watching that timing. So
Nice.
that's a big
That's
piece
awesome.
for me.
Kevin Hart would call that a golden nugget of wisdom,
Yeah.
which you just gave us. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
That is phenomenal.
yeah.
It's been wonderful talking to you.
Yes, you too.
I'd like to do this again. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot we didn't touch on, and time went way too fast. But thank you so much.
Yes.
And thank you for watching.
Yeah.
And thank you to the Empty Cup for hosting us here today. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thanks.